Welcome to the Chick Show, everybody. This is Jerry Barker with his song Ballad of the Farmer off Dog Eat Dog World. Check him out.
It's 6 a.m. on a farm on the edge of town. Birds stop singing and leaves hit the ground.
I don't know if you know this or not, I was in a band.
I
didn't know that.
Yeah, so I was in a couple different renditions. Up here on the wall was the first band I was in called Bucket. We did a lot of cover tunes. We played a lot of shows. Had a great time. It was a lot of fun. We were a party band. We put on we partied hard. And then the second rendition was a band called Cuffed, and we were primarily doing originals. So we played out.
Cool.
We just played a 6-song set. We played for about an hour, and yeah, that lasted about 6 months. We just had some issues come into play, but Bucket was a couple year project, and we had a lot of fun with that band. I learned a lot from it, that's for sure, and I'm very appreciative of that time. But
What'd you play?
I played the microphone. I played a mean microphone. I did play harmonica,
Cool.
but I'm a terrible harmonica player, which is
Well,
interesting.
what is a terrible harmonica?
I
I mean,
don't-
it's the easiest instrument, really.
I don't know, but we saw a guy. I'm gonna have to look him up now because we saw a guy down at Key West last week that is like a world class.
Oh yeah, some people are insane on it.
Yeah, this guy played it like somebody's induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like a harmonica player got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I'm gonna look it up real quick. It was at
Ooh.
the Green Parrot last week.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
This guy that I saw was not, but the guy who, I wonder if I can see their past calendar. The guy who was being inducted was who he was playing harmonica at, like he was that guy.
Mm.
Jason Ritchie or Ricky. Jason Ricci, and he was with a band called The Bad Kind. So it was Jason, I'm gonna say Ritchie and The Bad Kind. They're out of New Orleans. Man, this guy was playing a flipping harmonica. He was getting it on. I was so excited to see him. I think the people we were with, my wife and there was another couple we went in there with. I don't think they really gave a shit. I thought it was cool as hell. But I did a little bit of harmonica work when we sang Train Train, and I would kind of do the opening with the harmonica. And like I said, I'm a terrible harmonica player, but it was fun. And I thought, man, what a gig that would be. I could do some blues, and if I could learn enough harmonica, man, you could put a blues band together and go kill it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen for me again.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want on harmonica, really. I mean,
You play a little harmonica.
I do. Yeah,
How's that going?
it's all right. I've kind of stepped away from it a little bit, honestly,
Why?
because I found a band.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
So you don't have to.
because I was doing everything myself for so long.
Did you have like a little kick drum and stuff too, or just?
Sometimes I'd have one of those little cymbals that you could like strap onto your foot. But yeah, AJ,
Yeah.
he drums for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you going full band now?
Sometimes I
Okay.
still like to go solo because I don't like to lead people, you know. I don't like to be out in front of a full band and be in charge. I like to just do whatever I want.
So with that in mind, could you find a band where there was a band leader, and then you could just be another player in that band? It just happens to be Jerry Barker and the custodians or whatever. Yeah, I don't know what your band's
Yeah, I could probably do that.
Do you have a name for the band?
I've been calling them the Onion Cutters.
The Onion Cutters. They'll
Because-
make you cry.
Exactly. They'll cook and make you cry.
Man,
Yeah.
I love it. That's so good. Cool. So how'd you get into this? How'd you get into music? What was your entry? Because I'm just gonna tell you, I remember Jared Barker as someone very different than
Yeah.
the guy that's up there on stage playing music. So how'd this all occur?
I think it was reading Johnny Cash's biography. He's the only reason I picked up guitar.
Yeah.
So I was learning that boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom. Learning those simple but great solos on guitar, and through him, everything leads back to him. Leads back to him. I would always just find other people like that he sang with, or it all just goes back to him. That's how I discovered Bob Dylan, which I get called all the time,
Yeah.
much
I
to
can
my
see that.
chagrin.
Sure, sure. But I think at first glance, it's easy to do that. And I think it's a misidentifier because I've been listening to some of your stuff. I think it's a misidentifier because I think it's a lot deeper than that. I think your music is a lot wider than trying to identify you as a Bob Dylan.
hmm
You're not. And I made that mistake when I first listened. You put some stuff out on Instagram, maybe Facebook,
Yeah.
and as I first listened to it, I kind of had that feel too. But as I've listened to other stuff you've done, like I was on Sound Check or what's it called?
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud. It's Sound Check. I just make this stuff up as I go. It's kind of like the Face Place. That's
Yeah.
that's Facebook to me. But yeah, as I'm listening on that, I'm like, wow, this guy's a lot deeper than what you've put out there so far. And I think there's a lot wider variety of your influences that start showing up the more I listen to you. So that's why I was excited to have you on because I think people are going to just get that little clip and they're going to go, oh, he's Bob Dylan. He's kind of in that group of guys. I don't think you are. I
I
think,
love him. He's my favorite of all time, but I'm really just a big country music fan.
really?
Like 40s, 50s, and 60s. Yeah.
That's so interesting, man. So how long ago you were talking about the Johnny Cash biography? How long ago did you get into that?
It was probably 7th grade. So
Oh wow.
how old are you in 7th grade? Like 13, I
Yeah,
think.
13,
Yeah.
14. Yeah. Probably 12, 13, 14,
Yeah.
seventh,
Somewhere
eighth
around there.
grade.
Yeah. And then yeah, I had my first guitar. It was like a crappy Yamaha,
Sure.
but
Hey, it's something,
yeah, I
man.
learned on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you take lessons? Just kind of learning on your own or?
Yeah, I never took a single lesson. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm not going to say I'm great or anything, but I get the job done.
And that's just it though. You think about anybody who started something and it takes time to become expert level.
Oh, yeah.
Even those who have been doing it for extended periods of time are still learning,
Oh, yeah.
watching
I'm
and
still learning new stuff all the time. So, yeah.
and I hope that continues
Yeah.
because that's the only way you get better.
Yeah.
It's always interesting to me. I saw something with it was Jimmy Page and somebody else. Shoot. I can't remember who it was, but it was Jimmy Page and somebody else. And they were sitting down, and Jimmy Page is playing a lick, and this other dude is watching, and he's a guitar god as well. And he's watching him. He's like, do that again. Like, he had just learned something, and this guy's been playing guitar for 60 years. They're in their 70s. They've been playing since they were 15, and he's watching Jimmy Page. He's like, do that again. And I've seen others where, that's happening all the time.
Yeah.
As someone who's a singer, I was talking a while back about how, man, I wanted to be, well, I wanted to be Phil Anselmo, but I was watching all these other acts go on, and Scott Weiland had some really cool stuff with STP. I wish I would have known so much more about how they were creating their music when I was creating music to learn how influential the bass player of STP was. He was the band leader.
I don't know much about them.
So I think his name's Brad DeLong. I may be wrong, so someone may come on and go, oh, that's not who he is. But I think that's who it is. But anyway, him and his brother are the band leaders of STP. And Scott Weiland was brought on to sing. But it's all driven from a bass player's perspective. That whole band is a bass player's perspective of how the song was written, how the lyrics come along, and the rhythm section drives that band. And looking back on it now, knowing a little bit more about music, having a little bit more life experience, I can hear that. I can feel it. It is a very rhythm-driven type music. But when I think about Johnny Cash, it's a rhythm, like you just
Yeah.
said, boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom.
hmm
It's just a very simple, nice, comfortable beat that we can all kind of get in a groove with.
Yeah.
I don't know of anybody that can't groove with something from Johnny Cash. I was
Yeah, he's like
introduced.
Willie Nelson. I mean, there's
Oh
nobody
yeah,
that doesn't like either of those two.
yeah. I was introduced to Johnny Cash when I was really young. My dad was a huge fan, so my whole life Johnny
Yeah.
Cash has been playing in my home, some way, shape, or form. And the Man in Black. My dad had, my dad got upset. He'd have that deep voice, and he'd just come after you. So Johnny Cash has always been an influence in my life, and when on stage, typically I was wearing black. That was what I was wearing: a pair of black shorts, black tennis shoes, and a T-shirt. And even though that's far cry from Johnny Cash, it
Hmm.
was still influenced by him. So I think it's interesting. So with that being said, so now you're 13, 14. You start playing guitar. Did you start singing about the same time, or did that come later?
Singing in my bedroom
Sure,
so that no
nobody.
one could hear. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, yeah. So when
Well,
did?
you knew me, well, at least knew of me when I was super shy as a
Yeah,
kid. So it took a
yeah.
while. It took probably 8 years before I could sing in front of people and be all right with it.
Who was the first person that you opened up in front of, and really opened up? Because
Hmm.
I can tell you, I've sang before, but I've turned the
Yeah.
radio up loud
Yeah.
enough to
Uh huh.
where
Yeah.
I was just almost a background vocal, and that was
Huh.
kind of how I opened up to people when I could sing. It was a while before I finally turned it down so they could hear me.
Probably some high school girlfriend that I thought was my true love.
Oh yeah, yeah. I get
Brings out
that.
the poet in you. You know.
Oh man. I was I was singing some stupid Skid Row song, I'm sure. Remember yesterday, all that good stuff. But
First time I ever sang in front of a crowd was there's a bluegrass jam at the Delaware County Senior Center. I was the
nice.
youngest person there by probably like 50 years.
Here's the benefit of that, though. And I'm just outside looking in again. They couldn't hear you.
Yeah, that's probably true.
It's like, oh, that guy's great. What'd he say? You said he's great. I can't hear a thing. Just clap. Okay, tap your toe. So good stuff. So were you just covers, primarily covers, and
Oh yeah, just covers.
still doing some covers now? Or are you gearing more towards original stuff?
I do almost all original stuff except for the covers that I like.
Okay.
I don't like to take requests because
Yeah.
I'm gonna get something like Freebird or
Right.
I don't know, whatever those type of songs are.
Requests are tough. So we were, like I said, we were in Key West for a week, and in Key West there is music going on from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. 7 days a
Mm,
week. And there's
that's awesome.
162 bars within a 1 mile stretch on Duval Street. And
Wow.
then you have multiple others off of the main drag. So, with that being said, we were seeing and hearing so many different artists. And you were talking about having a cymbal on your toe and playing harmonica and guitar singing. There were guys that were using so many sample tracks down
Mm,
there and some sort of electronica to fill up the room. And I say room, it was all open air for the most part. There are very few rooms down there you're going to get a jam session. But there was a lot of people utilizing some sort of electronica to create or to for extra sound. So maybe, get that little riff in and then hit a button. Now it's on just repeat and they can play something else while that's playing a rhythm track for them, or they have something pre-recorded or pre-programmed to sing
yeah.
along with. Um, it's neat. And I think for most people, they're going, oh, that's really cool. I would assume you're very similar to me where I'm like, come on, man. I want to hear
Exactly.
I
That's
want to
the
hear
right reaction.
I want to hear musicians utilizing the instrument in front of them. And
Yeah.
not that I don't think that's cool. I do. I think it's
There's a
really
place for
interesting.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were probably in the right place for it.
Yeah.
Um, and with the right crowd, because 90% of the folks there are like, oh my God, he just played that and all by himself. I'm like, oh, that was pretty good, but
Yeah.
dang it, man.
Do you remember their names?
Nope, not a one
Exactly.
of them.
Exactly.
I couldn't even remember the Jason Ritchie guy. And he was freaking phenomenal. He's world class, man. I do remember a band called Ensueno. They were like a Cuban band.
Love it.
Oh my God, man. Had a guy playing trombone, playing the trumpet, another guy playing the flute and the saxophone. They had a keyboard player, bass player, keyboard player back here, a guitarist, and a singer and a drummer.
Amazing.
Dude, they were so good. Like, so good to the point. I was having a great time that night. And I'm up. I don't get up and dance. I promised Pete Wentz. I had a guest on a while back. Pete Wentz is another artist from Indiana who's in 3 different bands. He is in a Genesis cover band, Genesis tribute band called Abacab. He is in a yacht rock band called Thirst and Howl. And if you're a fan of oh God, Gilligan's Island, Thurston Howell's a character on Gilligan's Island, and they all dress as the captain. And then he's in another band that he creates original music with a friend of his, and they do it off a Twitch show where people that are watching the Twitch show throw out ideas, and then they take the ideas and create songs from the words that are shared on the Twitch show. They've created a couple albums off of that. So
Wow.
really cool stuff. You know, down there was so much going on. That band was killer. I had a great time. I thought I tipped him $100 at one point, and I didn't look in the bucket to see. I did tip him a 20, but I thought I threw a $100 bill in there in the morning. I was like, Jennifer, how much money did you give me? She goes, oh, I gave you a couple $100. I said, okay. All right. It was not a $100 bill I threw in there.
Well, they
Not-
probably deserved it though.
They did deserve it.
Yeah.
And if I would have put $100 in there, I didn't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
But their bucket was full, bro.
Oh yeah, I love that kind of
They were
stuff.
great. Favorite band I've seen in the past. Well, I'll say the past year, because we've seen some great acts in the past year. We've been to Bonnaroo and we've been to Louder Than Life and seen a couple other live shows. But they were incredible. They were the best no-name band I've seen
Oh yeah.
in forever. Yeah, they were incredible. So more anyway. Listen, I got questions, my man. I do have a few of them I wrote down. So we talked a little bit about what got you inspired and how you got into it. So when is that transition from I'm singing in my bedroom and playing some guitar, and all of a sudden I feel like, man, I can actually play, to all right, now I'm gonna play in front of somebody other than the senior citizens home where they're deaf. No offense to old people. I love old people. But
There's some good pickers there. It was like a big
Oh, I'm
circle with band. The banjo player there, John Boltman. He's one of my heroes, honestly. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Is he a local guy or
yeah, he's a local guy. He still lives in Muncie, and he played on the Grand Ole Opry in the
Wow.
70s and toured around. He gave me some of his albums that he made in the 70s, so records. So
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember a guy named Governor Davis.
oh yeah,
So I got to see Governor Davis years ago.
they still have a painting of him on the wall at Elm Street.
Do they?
Yeah.
That's right, they do. When
Yeah.
you first walk in,
Yep.
right there on that wall. Yeah. So I got to see Governor Davis a number of times, and I met him a few times over at Muncie Music Center. And I got to see him down in Indianapolis at a thing called Circle Fest. So they took the whole circle of Indianapolis, blocked it off, and they had multiple bands playing. So like in one area, they had some 80s bands. REO Speedwagon was the headliner that day. On that end, they had another band over here, and I can't remember the name of the band now, but it was kind of when the band Train was getting big, and this was another one of those Train type bands that had like one hit wonder. Over here, they had another. I saw Junior. Gosh, man, you would know exactly who I'm talking about. I'll think of it here in a second. It'll take me a minute, but and then over here is Governor Davis, and it was more of a blues area.
Yeah.
So Governor Davis is playing on this stage, and I'm there with a friend, and my buddy Darren, he's like, "Hey man, think that's James Hetfield over there. I look over, I'm like, no way. I'm a huge Metallica fan. And we keep looking. He goes, dude, I think it is. And the guy's tall enough. They were playing in town that night, or maybe the next night. Everything said that really could be James Hetfield. So I go over there. Finally, I'm going to go find out. So I go over there, and James Hetfield wore a ring from Cliff Burton on one of his hands. And I made sure when I shook his hand, I turned his hand over to see the ring. And sure as shit, there's that skull ring on his hand. And so as I walk up, I'm like, hey, man, I'm not trying to cause a scene. I'm just standing next to him. Like, I'm not like face to face. And I said, hey, man, you look a lot like James Hetfield from Metallica. And I would not be able to sleep tonight if I didn't come over here and say hi and introduce myself. And he's like, oh, I get that a lot, dude. Deep voice. He goes, I get that a lot, dude. My name's Dave. And he shakes my hand. And when he shakes my hand, I turn his hand and I said, right, Dave. Nice ring. And so we talked there for a second. And I said, and he's there to watch Governor Davis.
Wow.
So I know that's who he is. Why, like, for real, come on, all these bands around, and this dude that looks identical to James Hetfield, same voice, wearing the same ring, as they're watching Governor Davis. Guitar guys watch guitar guys. Governor Davis was a true guitar god. Much respect for that guy. God rest his soul.
Yeah, never met him.
Oh, man.
I started playing a little bit after he passed.
So nice, man.
Yeah.
Like, anytime I go into Guitar Center or Muncie Music Center, he was just a smile on his face, so helpful, just a great dude, and just love music, love helping people with music. So you start playing out. Now you've got this gig where you got some pickers around you, and you're. How did that go? What coming out of that gave you the confidence to keep going?
It was like pulling teeth for them to get me to sing. They would just be like, why don't you sing something? I'd be like, no, that's all right. It's horrible when you're first starting out, or at least for me, I was so nervous to sing. I mean, I was fine playing guitar because I could do that. And that's more mathematical, I guess, and just using your voice. I mean,
it's not near as personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could play guitar, and then they'd like, why don't you sing something? I was like, no, I'll do it the next time we go around. Still didn't do it, but. So eventually I started doing that. I think the first song I sang was My Bucket's Got a Hole in It. Hank Williams Sr.
Dear Lila, is that the song? Hole in my bucket, dear Lila.
No.
No, that's not that one? Okay. Sorry, man. I don't know the song then.
You don't know Hank Williams
Well,
Sr.?
I know some Hank Sr., but I don't know that one.
Yeah, well, anyway, that's what it was. And then slowly I started singing more songs, and then that's about the time I started. Well, I'd always written stuff, like poetry or whatever. So I started writing some songs. This was probably 2021, I think. That's when I started doing this. And, I started writing some songs, and I was like, hey, they're all right. So the first open mic I ever did was at Be Here Now.
Okay. And for the people my age that are Ball State people, that is the old Headliners, just so you know. Yeah. Saw some great acts at Headliners, brother. Yeah.
There's still great acts there every week.
Good. Cool. Well, you're one of them, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So where do you go from there? Where do you go from, all right, I got the courage to sing this song. And, what's next?
Well, I just decided that I wanted to practice as much as possible. There was 5 open mics. I was doing 5 open mics a week around Muncie, just every single week. Sometimes 2 a day. Just singing as much as I could, getting the courage, and
At some point, does that just kind of become second nature?
Yeah. Now I don't really care.
No nerves?
Not really, no.
Man, good for you. I get nerves every time I go to do karaoke. That was kind of where I got my start, was karaoke.
Yeah.
I started karaoke.
Too nervous for that.
As you were walking up, I was watching an online, like, there was this couple singing Chop Suey from System of a Down karaoke, and it was so terrible. I sent it to the girls. I sent it to Addie and Jocelyn. I said, this is how it sounds when your mom says, well, when I ask if we can just go get something to eat somewhere and go out, and this is what it sounds like when your mom says, "Oh, we have food at home."
Yeah.
The worst karaoke on the planet. So, favorite artist still Johnny Cash, or does it start to evolve a little bit?
Oh, he's up there.
Yeah,
Bob Dylan is probably my favorite,
yeah,
which is why I didn't like being called him.
that's
Because I
tough.
didn't want to be just seen as like a copycat, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, he's still up there. A lot of I just like good songwriters. John Prine, if you know who that
I
is.
love John Prine. That is my wife and I's song is "In Spite of Ourselves." That is our
That's a
song.
great song.
Yeah, yeah.
Towns Van Zandt, if you've ever heard of him.
I've heard the name before.
He's one of those country adjacent songwriters of the 70s.
Okay. There's
Uh,
a John Prine mural down in Lexington, Kentucky,
mm.
or somewhere near Lexington at a pizza joint. Somebody did a John Prine mural on the side of this pizza building. Jennifer was telling me about that this past weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love that guy.
he's pretty cool.
Tom Petty will always be one of my favorites
Oh
too.
yeah, definitely, definitely. So you got a mixture. I mean that, and not that those guys are that far apart from one another.
I think they could have been brothers,
I
honestly.
think so. I really do. And I think everybody you've mentioned could easily sit in the room together,
Oh yeah.
you know, without a doubt, and share. Just man, can you imagine that super group?
Yeah. Oof.
Wow, that'd be.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention George Jones.
Oh sure, man.
I think he's the best singer of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
The way you would phrase things and
It's interesting when we think about some of these older musicians. I think we forget how good they really were. We see some of the musicians of today, and think of the people who are innovators.
Mhm.
And we can go way back if we want. Heck, just like here a while back, I was talking with Scott Love about the history of rock and roll, and we went all the way back to the '40s with a band had a song about a Cadillac, the Cadillac Boogie, and how that inspired rock on down the line. And not only did it inspire rock, but I think country inspires rock, rock inspires country, and they start blending and mixing together quite a bit.
yeah.
And somewhere in there, folk comes into play as well. And I think it's folk hits with um, that group that's not electrified for sure, and a little bit more purist of storytelling in a way, for me anyway.
Yeah.
It may hit somebody else a little bit different, but I think the storytelling piece that comes out of folk, country, and rock all make them very similar. And if somebody really wants to get crazy and just talk about storytelling, they could also mix in hip hop with that.
Oh yeah.
I'd probably offend a few people. Oh, hip hop. Listen for 5 minutes and you'll pick it up. That how related all of those genres are.
Oh yeah.
I don't
I
know
mean,
if I
there's
can.
it's not a coincidence that all these musical innovations came out of the South
Oh,
in
right,
in
man.
the early 20th century. All those people living
Yeah,
close together.
yeah. You got to have something.
Yeah.
It's really interesting that music continues to evolve in the way it does, knowing that we have all these other entertainment options in front of us. We have so many other opportunities in front of us that you would think music would suffer from it. And
Hmm.
as a child of I was born in the '70s, and I watched music suffer through the '80s. God, people are going to hate me for this. I love the '80s. I don't. There's some stuff I really love, and I'm not ashamed to say I love yacht rock. I love Christopher Cross, one of my favorite artists, and always has been. I love some of those guys. There's some stuff I really do care about, but there was some other stuff that was just garbage. And I think to myself about how music continues to evolve, but also stay close to its roots. And I would, if I was someone on the outside of our culture, I would think that all these other entertainment options we have would make some of it suffer.
I'm sure some of it suffered.
Sure, but it's brought you into the fold, because if we didn't have the opportunity to continue to hear Johnny Cash's, John Prine's,
Yeah.
and these other folks, and Bob Dylan's, and so on and so forth, if it wasn't available to us, we would lose it. And I think that's why we have progressed at the way we have. Um, you go all the way back to um, uh, uh, I'm having a moment here. I turned 50 in 2 days, so I'm 50 moment.
Happy early birthday.
But you think about a Robert Johnson who
Yeah.
was recording in the 30s,
Yep.
and how dirty that sound was,
Uh-huh.
coming off of his guitar, and those recordings were so raw that
Haunting.
really were,
Yeah.
and there's very few pieces of his that are
Mhm.
available to
I
us.
think there's only like 2 known pictures of him.
Yeah, I mean, isn't
Yeah.
that bizarre?
Yeah.
But we all know him, and it's because of technology
Oh yeah.
that we're aware of him. And
Think about how many people from that era who weren't recorded who were amazing.
right,
Yeah.
and even still
Playing on
today,
street corners. Yeah.
you're talking about some guys you're playing with, just in this little circle of pickers, that we have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
And if you're not sitting there with him, you don't meet that guy.
Mm-hmm.
You never hear of him. You might hear him, but you don't know it's him.
Yeah.
And sadly, there's a lot of people that get lost that way. And there's a lot of people that have been recorded that are just incredible players that will never, ever be heard. And it's number one, because they're like, I don't really care. It's about the love of the music for me.
Yeah.
But I think there's a responsibility that you have as someone who loves music and has a talent, and that is to share it with others. And for those out there that are playing in their bedroom right now, that are, too shy to, um, I don't know what else to call it. It's a
Yeah.
shyness
Yeah, it is.
to get out in front of others. There might be, think of that 13-year-old you that is sitting in his room, that loves music, that wants to play and starts playing, and how you could inspire someone else. That's why I wanted you to come
Yeah.
on today.
I would 13-year-old me would not recognize me today. Probably think I was like some fourth cousin or something. I don't know.
I think it's really interesting because I would have never put you on stage. You know what I mean? So I think it's incredibly awesome that you've taken that leap, and it's
Yeah,
a leap of faith.
Somehow opened up for Don McLean and Afro Man, and
So yeah, we were getting there. We were
Oh,
getting there. Oh,
I
man.
just could not even imagine telling 13-year-old me that.
So how's that happen? Because I was getting there. I was climbing on. I was like, man, and you get to open up a venue.
Yeah.
No one had ever played there before. So
Nope.
you're the first person to play.
First
Tell
person
us-
to ever play on that the Brown Family Amphitheater on All States campus. First person ever. Just me. No band or anything.
So how's that come about?
The owner of Be Here Now, Whitney Lewis, he was kind of instrumental in putting that show together, bringing Don McLean there, because he had tour stops in, I think, Chicago, and then Brown County, somewhere in Brown County. So it's like kind of in the middle. So he was like, why don't you come split the difference or whatever. So Whitney was a huge part of getting Don McLean to come. And then I play at Be Here Now all the time. I'm at the open mic every single week. And he was like, because I'm really the only solo acoustic guy that hangs around. There's a lot of rappers and rock artists, pop artists. And he was like, you should open up. And I was like, it was a high thrill of a lifetime hearing that. I couldn't believe it.
It's interesting. And I'm thinking about my podcast that comes out last week with Derek Jones, and he was in the right place at the right time, and that chance that someone will give you an opportunity. I was explaining to him what luck is. Luck is when preparedness and opportunity meet. And
Yeah.
if you weren't prepared, if you hadn't been practicing, if you hadn't started in your bedroom, If you hadn't
Well, that's
had,
the thing too.
you know,
Like if I had just played covers or just done what everybody wanted me to do, I would not have gotten that opportunity.
yeah, yeah, because he's not going to want.
Yeah,
I'm not going to recommend this guy to
yeah,
get up there and
yeah,
play Country Road, Take Me Home.
yeah, yeah. Wagon wheel.
Right, right. You're right. So you had an opportunity. You were prepared, and opportunity gets there, and you met that, and you climbed up there and got it done. How nervous were you getting on that stage that night?
Not at all, actually.
Man,
It's funny. Like the more people there are, the less nervous I am.
yeah.
I hate playing for like two people. Hate it.
We all do, man.
'Cause I feel
We
like
all do.
they're looking at me. But
They are.
if it's just like that was a big crowd, I want to say it was probably like 500 or 600.
Yeah.
They're just spots, you know. I mean, they're not real people in my mind at that point.
Did you get to meet Don McLean?
I did
How was that?
barely. It was all right.
Yeah. Did he get to hear your set, or
I have no idea if he heard it or not.
did you meet him before or after?
After,
Yeah.
I think he was a little tired.
Sure. I mean, those guys have been
Yeah.
doing it forever, and you would hope they would still have that joy in their heart for
Yeah.
it. And I'm sure he does, or he wouldn't continue to do it.
He actually covered Johnny Cash that night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
didn't
did.
do the same song, did he?
No,
Oh,
he did Folsom Prison.
Did you do any?
No, I didn't do any
any
covers that night.
covers?
Yeah.
Do you ever do any covers now?
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's some real crowd pleasers out there where if you throw a cover out there that you love to do and everybody's gonna love it.
Sometimes I will do Wagon Wheel.
Really?
Yeah, even though it's like the country. Oh, Wonderwall.
Yeah.
It's like
I
the
got you.
country Wonderwall.
Oh my God. But no two brothers arguing on stage.
Yeah.
That's the good news about it. So what is is that your favorite experience you've had so far, or is there something else that eclipses that?
Oh yeah. I don't think. I mean, but it was the best part of my so-called career at this point.
How long have you been playing, like, and I'd say as a professional artist, because I think you're at that level now where whether you've gotten paid or not, I'm not looking at your financials by any means, but when I think about professional artists that are out gigging and doing this and strive to make this their life, how long has that been a reality?
I had my first paying gig just over a year ago, December of 22.
Nice. So yeah, you're just a year and a couple months.
Yeah.
So at this point, do you still work outside of playing, or
No, I just play.
do you keep busy enough to
Yeah.
pay the bills and at least keep traveling and
Yeah.
live the rock star lifestyle?
Yeah. Starving artist is a real thing,
It's not like hot tubs every night in the back
Nah.
of the limo.
not
Dri-
yet.
driving
Hopefully
down.
someday.
I can't see that. It's like, why are we wasting all this water?
Yeah.
God, can we just go sit somewhere and just hang out? Is there a bonfire? Anybody?
Yeah.
I see that a little bit more in you than the other. So, what are the goals?
Just to keep doing it. I want to start playing more and more out of Indiana. It's hard.
What's the farthest you traveled?
Valparaiso, I think. Well, I don't know if that's farther than Nashville, Indiana. I don't know. Probably about the same.
It's similar. Valpo's a little bit further.
Yeah.
It's about 2 hour, a little over 2.5, maybe 2.5.
Yeah.
And then I think you can go to Nashville in probably an hour and 45.
I want to say that was actually the high point of my playing days. Was I went to the Bill Monroe Music Park
Yeah.
in Brown County, and I got to play Bill Monroe's guitar. He's
Wow.
the founder of bluegrass, 1951 Martin.
Wow. That's pretty cool. How'd
I
that
was
come
like-
about?
I was walking around in the museum, and the guy was just like, he asked me some questions to make sure I actually liked bluegrass, I guess. And he was like, "You want to play this?" And I was like, "Heck yeah!" This is the sweatiest my palms have ever been holding that thing.
So do you have like an agent, or you self promote? What?
I do it by myself right now. It sucks. I'm gonna be honest. It's horrible. Sending emails that never get a reply.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah, but when you do get that reply,
Yeah.
that feels pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm working in sales now, and so I send out a lot of emails. I do a lot of driving around and just knocking on doors, stopping by, saying, "Hey, here's who I am. Here's a catalog. Here's the info."
Yeah.
And when I do get that call, boy, that call lasts a long time. It allows me to go to that
Keeps
next.
you going. Yeah.
It really does, and it was the same way when we were gigging. We had some places we were regulars at,
Hmm.
and that we would play on a regular basis. Very different scene back in the '90s for people who were, you know, some sort of. I hesitate to call us professional musicians. We were getting paid. I just don't know that we were professional. Uh, man, some of my old bandmates right now are going, "Come on, man, why are you dragging us? Come on, dudes. You know we were just partying. We were having a great time, but." It was very different back then where you'd walk in and say, "Hey, here's who we are, here's what we do." And maybe you would have a sample tape or something
Yeah.
or a set list that you would hand off, and this is what we do, and we have a pretty good crowd and pretty good following. And you kind of sell yourself that way. Where now it seems like, you know, you have that ability. Hey, here's where I'm at on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube,
Yeah.
SoundCloud. I
Yeah.
almost said Soundcheck again. Maybe I need to start something called Soundcheck. That would
That'd
be
be
pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah.
You could have a tiny desk type concert thing in here if you wanted.
Dude, I probably could. I
Yeah.
really could. You know, just bring in your. Right now, I'm tapping my toe, and I'm air quoting to get the cymbal going, but you know, I would imagine it's very different now. How does that look for you? You mentioned sending out some emails. Um, what all's involved in the promotion of what you do?
Uh, I mean, you can send as many emails as you want, but it's really about who you know.
Yeah,
If you can open up, if you know a band that's playing somewhere and ask if you can open up for them, that's the main way to get your foot in the door into some places.
do you find yourself still doing some and I'm air quoting folks, exposure type stuff where you'll play for a lower fee or nothing, or do you?
Yeah, I do that every now and then.
Yeah,
Yeah. I just try to network as much as possible, really,
sure.
with other musicians, see where I can play and stuff.
Well, I'm going to connect you with Derek Jones.
All right.
I think that would be a great connection. You guys are both Delaware County guys. So, are you living in Delaware County? Or are you still
Yep.
living here in Blackford? Or
Living in Muncie.
so he's a Blackford grad as well.
Yep.
And,
I remember watching him play at a halftime show at a
Oh,
football
yeah,
game.
yeah,
What was
yeah.
that, like 19 or something?
It would have been probably 2018, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So he came to my classroom that day and talked to my students in the classroom. And you'll have to go back and listen to last week's episode to hear it. But he tells a story about him and Miley Cyrus at a bonfire he was playing at with her. And he spent a couple years with Billy Ray Cyrus and being his
Yeah, I
opener.
remember that.
So that experience gave him a lot of confidence, a lot of exposure, a lot of opportunity to learn the business. He learned a lot about the business and that, but now he is self-managed. So, which is why I asked you earlier. But I think it'd be a great connection for you guys. It might lend itself to one another. He's got a great thing going, and he's really excited.
Eric
about it.
Jones knows one of my best friends, Jansen, Matthew John. They've played together. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I want to get you some exposure down in Madison, Indiana, if you're willing to travel, you know, a few hours. Madison's
I'll
a
do
great
whatever it
town.
takes.
Madison's got some great things going on down there, and they have something called the Madison Music Movement. So it's M cubed. And if you get on Facebook, I think maybe Instagram as well, you can find information about Madison's music movement. So reach out and look that way. They have some big shows that come down there through their Riverfest, through through the regatta, and they have a what's it called? Mad Hop Music Fest, where you buy a ticket and you go to like 10 different bars, 10 different venues to see people playing music. And then I have a great friend down there. His name is, well, two of them, Tom and Chandra Ferry, and they do Mad Stockapalooza every year in the fall. And that would be a great venue for you to go play too. They just do it out at their property, and they have, I don't know, a few hundred people show up and
Be great.
camp out for the weekend. It'd be a great, man. They have a stage set up, the whole thing. We didn't go last year. I feel terrible. We haven't made it to any of them yet, but we strive to get there this coming year. Our calendars open up. So how you've got your band now? How did that evolve? So you go from being solo. Are you approaching people to say, hey, I'm looking for a band, or are others, you know, kind of gravitating towards you? How's that look?
Huh. Well,
The way it worked back in the day was you got into like a What's Up magazine. It was a newspaper like thing, What's Up, and I can't remember the other one that was out there. And you had to look and see if there's a musician's wanted page, and then you would go to the music stores, and there would be postings at the
yeah,
music stores of drummer needed,
yeah.
vocalist, whatever. So what's that look like now? Obviously, social media has made that a lot more streamlined, but I would guess it gets a lot more blurry as well.
I haven't met anybody on social media, I don't think, that I've wanted to play with. uh, just doing all these open mics and stuff. I've met a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's how I met AJ. Just being out at the bars.
Yep.
There's one. He probably doesn't want me to tell you this, but
It's coming now, buddy.
there's one stretch. There's one stretch we saw each other like 11 nights in a row at the Herat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Herat's a cool place.
Yeah.
Still cool. It used to be really.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
The Viking theme, I love
Oh
it.
yeah. It's a neat thing going on in there. So are there open mic nights in there?
There used to be,
Okay.
but not anymore. But
I thought that wasn't any longer.
yeah. Yeah, we just started hanging out. I didn't even know he played drums for the longest time. That was when he had a broken arm.
Okay. Well, I would love to sit here and say, well, tell me more about AJ. I'm not going to do that to him on the air. You know what I mean?
No, he's a good guy.
Yeah,
He's great.
Seems like a great guy, and
He is.
seems like my daughter's pretty happy. So I don't
Yeah,
want to
it's such
screw
a
that
small
up.
world, isn't it?
It really is. And I say that, like I said, we were in Key West last week. While in Key West, we met a couple who are the mother and stepdad of my neighbors across the street. While we're sitting there, we were getting a drink. Jennifer's talking to someone. They're like, "Oh, where you from? Indiana. Oh, whereabouts? Huh? Little town you probably never heard of, Hartford City. Oh, I think my son-in-law works at the schools in Hartford City. I used to work at the schools in Hartford City." And she's like, "Oh, who is that? David Parker. David Parker's our neighbor." And lo and behold, I had just texted David Parker
Wow.
2-3 minutes prior to that about him needing a saw or something. And I'm like, "Sorry, dude, I'm not home." So then he gets a picture of me, my wife, and his in-laws on the
Wow.
beach in Key West. 2 nights later, we meet another couple on a dinner cruise that work with someone I went to school with. It's the principal at Noblesville High School, Dr. Craig McCaffrey, who I've known since Little League.
I know him.
Yeah, man. It's like, how's this happen? And one night later, no, 2 nights later, we meet another couple who went to a high school up in Angola, and this guy knew my buddy Dan Grill knew his dad. It's like, what the heck, man?
It's a small
It
world.
really is a small world. And there used to be this whole 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon thing.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't believe it's even 7 degrees anymore. And
Yeah.
social media has kind of proven that.
Oh yeah.
We're all very closely connected in some way. And when I look
Yeah.
at my analytics and I see the people who are listening to me in Poland,
Yeah.
Tanzania, what? How's that happen?
Yeah, I've actually never even played in Hartford City before, but I have more listeners in like Detroit for some reason than in Hartford City.
Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah.
Like, my biggest listenership is in Indianapolis. Now, granted,
Yeah,
I have a
mine
lot of
too,
people I
actually.
went to school with that, I mean, a lot of people gravitate down towards there. And
Yeah.
I wonder what they call Indianapolis at this point.
Yeah.
I'll see Pendleton pop up, and I've seen Carmel, Noblesville,
Yeah.
but I have a huge listenership in Indianapolis. Shout out, Indy. It's just really interesting now that we have that ability to put things out there,
Yeah.
to connect with others, how easily it is to follow someone from anywhere literally in the world.
Yeah.
It's so
It's cool.
it is really cool. But there are times I look at it, I'm like, how the hell did I get to
Yeah.
11 countries?
Yeah.
How's that happen?
Yeah. How do they even find it? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can attribute it to, guests that come on. Surely
Yeah.
they know,
Yeah.
so I've
Yeah.
had 30 plus guests on at this point, and they know people all over the world, literally. And well, man, if you find out, somebody's gonna find, oh, Jerry Barker's been on. What's the Schick Show? Be careful how you say that. You know, so, I mean, it just kind of spreads. And I hope that through my show, your music can spread as well. And some more people are going to go,
Yeah.
Terry Barker, who's this guy? Is it kind of like, Bob Barker's son? What?
Yes. No.
Yeah. Price is wrong, Bob.
Yeah.
Cool. So what's next?
I don't know. I got a full album of songs ready to go. I've been practicing. I found a violinist too, so that
wow.
is amazing. Yeah.
There's a flute player out there, just so you know. I know.
I think I might know who you're talking about.
Gal can play a mean flute. I'd love to see her utilize.
That would be cool to just have that on a song or two.
Just get a little cameo spot in there.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, I might have to think about that.
Just there you go, man. I would love to hear that.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear somebody play clarinet. I know lady plays clarinet. But no, that'd be cool as can be, man. I'm excited to see what you do, and man, I'm trying to think of the name of the song I was listening to on SoundCloud that I think was an original. You don't have a whole lot on SoundCloud.
I don't. Yeah, it's mostly on Spotify and Apple Music.
Okay, so and I'm the old dude in the room, so getting my music through anything other than YouTube or the radio.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
It's still interesting to me. You know what I mean? It's like Addison's been asking me to put my music on YouTube just to share it, and I'm like, oh yeah, just another thing to maintain.
Might as well.
My bandmates are really cool about it. They're like, yeah, do it. Well, the thing is, I tried to do it a while back, but it's all in MP3, so I need to convert it to an MP4. Do I do like a video? Like,
there's some kind of website that'll just let you just take like a picture and turn it into a video.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I need to do then.
Yeah.
I've got a few pictures. I got some stuff like that. I've got a little shadow box in the other room. It used to be in here, but I've gotten rid of it. And as I evolve my studio, and I'm air quoting again, I'm trying to create an environment where I can video this as well. So I'm starting to research a little bit about
That'd be
video.
cool.
And getting I can't think of the black magic video thing. I don't know. I know very little about it. I've done enough to know that that's probably the device I need, that I can't even remember the name of it. And I know I can get it up at Sweetwater. It's a couple $100, and then I got to get in the cameras. I don't think the webcam's going to be good enough, but it might work good enough, So I've got an old camcorder from like 1998.
That would be cool. People would like that, honestly.
grainy.
That grainy stuff is coming back.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
A lot of people my age love to shoot stuff in that style.
Man. So before we leave, I want to show you a couple things. I don't know if you're into art or anything, but it seems like you are. But I've got a couple pieces I want to show you. Over there is a Bob Ross. That's a Bob Ross instructor painting.
Huh.
And that came from a Bob Ross instructional thing we did down in Madison. And me and Eric Fagan, an artist down there, put that together. I want to show you some Eric Fagan art before you leave. It has that graininess to it. I just want to see your opinion of it. He's a Madison guy, very involved in the Madison music movement, and somebody I'd love to introduce you to. So,
I just noticed you have a Rocky 5 poster.
Yeah.
It's the worst Rocky.
I know it is. So I got that. You remember Mr. Harker?
Yeah.
So when he
I had him right about the time I picked up guitar.
Yeah, so Mr. Harker was science teacher at Northside, and when he left, him and his wife left and went back up to Monticello, I had his classroom, and I found that poster. So I've kept that poster, and it's been in every classroom I've had, because I'm a huge Rocky fan, for one.
Oh, yeah, you have to be.
But it's the only Rocky poster I have. And I quote a lot of Rockies out there. But I'm always going for it. If you don't go for it, somebody's going to go for it. Well, that's the only poster I have. So don't shame me on my Rocky 5 poster.
Well,
Rocky might be the worst one.
I don't know. I think that's pretty bad.
It is bad. It's terrible. It's
Who's
right.
he fighting that? What's his name? Tommy. Is it
God, dude.
Tommy something, right?
It is Tommy
Is
something.
it Dreamer?
No, not Tommy
Yeah, I
Dreamer.
know.
That's terrible.
I know.
I'm gonna look it up. Rocky 5 cast. Let's see who it is. Tommy Morrison. Tommy Morrison. Yeah.
Yeah, Tommy Dreamer's way later.
That
At least
was
you knew who that was.
well,
I used to be a huge wrestling fan.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
Oh man.
I love it.
So well, you would have came in much later than I. But
Yeah.
man, I had the rink. I had the wrestlers. I had like,
Oh yeah, so did I.
yeah, man. I had Andre the Giant and Hulk, and so that was my day.
Yeah,
Man, I don't know if you know this, but I was going to be a professional wrestler.
I didn't know that.
So I had a few dreams. First one was that I was going to be a professional wrestler, and I had it all figured out. I was going to be Scott, the Razor Chick. My signature move was going to be the close cut, and
Ooh.
it was a clothesline. So it'd be the close shave. Sorry, the close shave.
Okay.
And you know,
Even
obviously
better.
it's 2 rounds back and forth from the ring.
Yep.
While I stand up and get the crowd going, and then that third time you come back around, boom, you get laid out. Who he gets him with the close shave?
My roommate used to be a semi-professional wrestler.
No way.
Yeah, they do wrestling at the fairgrounds in Muncie
That's so good.
once a month. Indiana Powerhouse Wrestling. If anybody listening wants to go, it's on Saturdays. You can probably find it on Facebook. But yeah,
Oh man,
my roommate used to be called the Savior.
the Savior.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
and he was a villain, so it was great. I used to go to those. Everyone hated him, but he had to have an early retirement because he broke his heel.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah,
Dude, the heel would be the worst.
yeah. They say that's one of the worst things to break.
Man, I had an Achilles issue years ago that popped back up about a year and a half ago, and man, it killed me. That was awful. I had to switch shoes. I had to go to some Hokas that have like this big fat.
Oh yeah, the Hoka shoes. Yeah,
Dude, it changed my life.
yeah.
I was able to walk again. Junior Brown. You familiar with
Okay.
Junior Brown?
That's it's ringing some
I'm
bells.
gonna have to. I'll look him up so you can see him. But Junior Brown is freaking amazing. So let's see if we can find. Here we go. I'm gonna pull that picture over there. So no, it didn't pop up. Dude, this guy plays like steel guitar, and it's a one piece.
Oh, I know who you're talking about now.
Now I gotta look him up on YouTube real quick, so you can hear it.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
The good news is I haven't been copyrighted yet.
Oh yeah?
They're hitting people on YouTube quite a bit. Don't put any Eagles stuff up.
Oh yeah, I've heard that they're the worst.
Oh, it is, and it's because they're coming back around. It's like, man, one of my friends down in Madison said it best. He was like, "Dude, I don't think that my busking is going to affect your millions of dollars."
Yeah, I know.
Pete Wentz, he got nailed by him. And Pete's the guy I was telling you about, it's in the Abacab and the other bands. And he just doing some stuff, at home. And he got nailed. And the song that had like 100 views.
Yeah.
And it had been up for 3 or 4 years. And he got freaking, whatever they call it. Is there a name for it? Do you know what it's called? When YouTube
Copyright strike, I think, something like that.
maybe. And you only get like 3.
Yeah.
And then you're done.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, I have not been. We got to hear some Junior Brown. It just has to happen.
He used to be a professor at a college in Oklahoma, I think. Like a country music college.
Junior Brown?
I think if it's the same person I'm
We're
thinking
gonna
of.
find out here. Oh, of course we have the. We're gonna skip that 3-second. I'm glad they're only 3 seconds. Man, I love Junior Brown, dude.
Yeah, that's just who I was thinking
Is
of.
that who it is?
Yeah.
So you think he was a college professor?
Yeah, a country singer named Hank Thompson used to have a country music college in Oklahoma, and he was one of the teachers there.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So we saw him at Circle Fest. Him, a snare drummer, like his drum, just a snare.
Yeah.
Tack, tack, tack,
Yeah.
pat, tack, 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 tack. But this guy, like, I love him,
Yeah.
and I really like that old surf music.
Oh yeah. The Ventures.
Oh, man, I love that stuff.
I love the Beach Boys.
See, I'm not super crazy about
Oh,
the
wow.
Beach Boys. I'm not. Yeah, but I'm a little dirtier than that, man. I like that dirty, aggressive guitar.
Crunchy stuff.
I do. I mean, it's just got an aggression about it,
Yeah.
and it might be just a couple. This is it. I love that. I can't help myself. Here we are sitting here podcasting. I can't help myself but sit here and kind of get into it while we're talking. But I don't know. It's interesting the music I'm into. My mom was a 50s gal. So American Graffiti was the movie.
Oh, yeah.
That thing, I've probably watched it 472 times. Not
Opie.
that I'm counting. I've got the album downstairs. Thank God John Christ found it for me. I talked about it on an early podcast. John Christ found it uptown at, I can't think of the record store here in Hartford City now. My wife absolutely loves that place. But man, it's just that nostalgia a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, Green Onions was like one of my favorite songs as a kid. I loved it, and not a lyric on it.
Yep.
You know, you would
Booker
think-
T.
Yeah, you would think I'd have picked up a guitar. And I know I have a few times, but it's like, that's a lot of work when I could just grab a microphone.
Yeah, Booker T and the MGs were great.
Yeah. So we got some things going on, man. How can people find you?
Well, you can probably find me on the street somewhere. Maybe at a Chinese restaurant.
Toopy tongue.
I love it. I love that. Doopy Tongue's amazing.
It is good.
You can find me on Instagram at Jerry Barker Music. I don't really post much on Facebook, but I'm on there too. Just Jerry Barker. I'm on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music.
Where they find you on YouTube?
Should just be my name, Jerry Barker.
We're gonna see right now, just so we can verify. I'm on YouTube listening to Junior Brown. I might have to end this with some Junior Brown, dude. Let's see. Jerry Barker. Hey, there it is. Jerry Barker Music right there. Man, that is a great shot of you, by the way. That
Oh, this is a good song.
you like this one?
I think I've heard this before.
Oh man, had to play a little bit, you know. So we're gonna end it here with a little bit of Jerry's music, and man, check him out. He's doing some great stuff. He's working hard, and I love it when people aren't afraid to get out there.
Funny story about this song. At the end of it, it says, Frank Scott Key came to me in a dream, like Francis
Yeah.
Scott Key. And one time at a show, I said, the guy who wrote the Declaration of Independence, and nobody even noticed.
That might be a different guy.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. But nobody even thought a second.
A few years apart, but that's all right. I'm not gonna give you grief on it. You know, I'm a history teacher, and I'm not.
I was a history major.
Were you really?
Oh yeah, history and English.
Oh, nice. Does
Didn't really get me anywhere.
does that help you with your writing though?
Oh yeah, probably. I had to read a lot of stuff, so
Yeah.
I still love reading poetry and stuff.
What's your who's some of your favorite writers?
Mark Twain will always be my favorite author.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
nice.
Mark Twain. I love Whitman. I love the French poets.
Okay.
Rimbaud, Baudelaire.
Nice. Yeah, you're going way above my pay grade, brother. I was an education major, elementary ed, but yeah. Once you get past, you know, some children's books, I'm out. That's good stuff, dude. Well, we just saw Ernest Hemingway's home
Oh yeah.
last week. So he had a home there.
Yeah, I forgot he lived down there.
A few years. That's where all the cats are. There's like 60 some cats that still live on the property, and something to do with his foundation pays to make sure those cats are taken care of. But a lot
That's
of them
kinda
have
cool.
like 6, 7 toes.
Yeah, they're just inbreeding a lot down
Oh
there,
my
aren't they?
God, dude, cats are so feral. You walk by them, leave a tip at the door. Meow. Well, dude, I'm excited. I'm excited to come see you. I'm trying to figure out a time to get over there.
When would this come out?
This is going to air. Let's see. So 20th, 27th, 1st February.
All right.
So right around that first week, that first Sunday in February. So I don't know when that'll be. Looks like the 4th.
All right. So I'll be playing at the Second Story Cocktail Lounge in downtown Muncie on February 17th.
Nice.
That's a Saturday. And then the week later, I'll be playing at the Common Market and on the south side of Muncie on February 24th.
Okay. Well, with your permission, I'm gonna reach out to some people for you and
I'd
give me
appreciate
your
it.
info. 'Cause I definitely want you to get heard, and I love what you're doing, man. I like your sound, and I was telling Jennifer I really enjoy just the roots of what you're doing. That it's not trying to be something
Yeah.
you're not.
This I'm really excited for this next album to come out. I think it's going to be way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where can and they can find that on Spotify and iTunes. And
Yeah.
that stuff.
When it finally comes out,
Okay.
who knows?
You have any anticipated date?
I don't know. I need to record it first.
Ah,
I got
there
a
it
dozen
is.
or so songs ready to go. It takes a lot of money to record.
It does. Where do you record at?
I've been recording at a studio in Indy called Naptown Recordings.
Good. Good, man. I'm excited to hear it. I'm excited to see what you come up with next. And I'm excited to come out and see you live.
Yeah, you should.
That's what I love to
This
see.
this Saturday I'll be at the Fickle Peach. So
You will?
yeah,
Dude, it's my birthday.
come
Saturday
on out.
is my birthday.
8 o'clock. I'll have the violinist there too.
You will?
Yeah,
You will have a flute player?
if she wants to jump up there, I don't think she wouldn't mind. The violinist wouldn't mind. I'd kind of dig it. So
She's going to jump up on there. Cool, brother. I'm going to put it in my calendar. So this Saturday, the 27th, is it's my birthday, by the way. But it'll be like this will air after my birthday.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to be, and I'm just going to put it in my calendar to get me there. And
8 o'clock, Fickle
8
Peach.
o'clock, Fickle Peach. All right, hold on, guys. There's going to be some dead air. So I put this in here. All right, 8 p.m. Fickle Peach. Jerry Barker.
Jerry Bear, I get that a lot.
I bet you do.
I don't mind it when the ladies call me that.
Oh, is that it? What about not 50-year-old men?
Anyway,
It's like, God, leave a tip in the jar, dude. It feels a little dirty.
nah.
Full band?
No, just me and the violinist.
Okay. All right. Well, dude, I'm gonna see if I
Mostly
can
all my new songs too. So,
I'm gonna see if I can get a crew together.
oh, that'd be great.
Bring my tribe, man. Come out and celebrate my birthday with
That'd
me.
be awesome.
So, brother,
Probably end up going to the Huron after. So,
man, that would get my wife excited. I think we're taking some time off from drinking. Boy, Key
That's
West
fair.
was rough, bro. I'm just telling you right now. That place, we had a great time. We really enjoyed Key West and didn't have to worry about car keys, anything like that.
oh yeah, cool.
If you can get a gig down in Key West,
That'd be
it would pay
great.
for your flight and your hotel. You go down there and jam. Oh my God, dude.
That would be awesome.
There's 162 places,
Yeah.
162 emails. You got to
Yeah.
get something, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Even if it's one, you're like, hey man, here's
Probability. I mean,
cost you $1,000 to get me to come play for a night. It gets you a little vacation.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I might have some stuff in, I think, North Carolina soon.
Well, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, we're gonna get you some stuff in Madison, Indiana.
Be perfect.
I'm gonna make that happen. So cool, great. I appreciate you being here, dude.
Yeah.
I'm
Thanks
gonna,
for having me on.
I'll get this stuff mixed down. I'm gonna put a little bit of your music at the front and back of it. You okay
Cool.
with that?
Yeah.
All right, I like it, man. Guys, everybody go out and check out Jerry Barker. Check him out on YouTube. Check him out on Spotify and on
Just everywhere.
Jerry Barker
Amazon
Music.
Music, Apple Music.
Oh,
anything.
nice.
It's
Yeah.
on everything.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, man. Hey, we're out. Maybe. There's the stuff. Hey, for those of you that stuck around for the after show, here is Jerry again with his title track off the album Dog Eat Dog World. Dog Eat Dog World. Check it out, guys.
Well, I wish I had $1, but I ain't got common sense not to kick rocks over the fence. I've been sitting on my watch pearl. Sticks and stones may break my bones. It's a dog-eat-dog world. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Been reading old papers to predict the past, just to get ahead, don't wanna be last. All the French Revolution and the Vietnam War make me spin and fall on the floor. All my dogs are barking and my goose is cooked. Ain't life just a pearl? Sticks and stones may break my bones. It's a dog-eat-dog world. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Sometimes I wonder what my ancestors think of me. If they saw me now, would they be happy? But lately I've been watching paint dry on the wall. If I waste my time, it's not my fault. All my dogs are barking and my goose is cooked. Ain't life just a pearl? Sticks and stones may break my bones. It's a dog-eat-dog world. It's a dog-eat-dog world. All my dogs are barking and my goose is cooked. Ain't life just a pearl? Sticks and stones may break my bones. It's a dog-eat-dog world. It's a dog-eat-dog world.